The Nissan LEAF has been with us for more than 10 years now, but does that mean it's long past its sell-by date, or are there still good reasons for you to part with your cash and own the OG EV, the original mass-market electric pioneer? I'm guessing you know about the LEAF by now, or at least have heard of it, but what's the deal with the LEAF in 2022? Well, it's time to reappraise it. Now there's a world of competition out there. Stay tuned as we take a good look at today's car, the Nissan LEAF, compare it to its competition, and then at the end, you'll decide, is it still relevant today? Welcome to the show, my name is Martin Lee. If you like the channel and what we do here, make sure you hit subscribe and the bell icon so you never miss a show. Let's start off with charging the Nissan LEAF, because many people say that this is a deal breaker, but why? Too slow? Well, yeah, it's slow these days, but we'll get to that in a moment. The Nissan LEAF has always had the CHAdeMO connector for DC charging, but times have changed in the greater world of EV charging. These days, the vast majority of EVs have the CCS connector. Now, we've made videos about that, so go check them out if you want to see more detail. The problem that is beginning to arise is that some charging networks aren't installing that CHAdeMO connector when they put in new, fast, high-powered chargers. Networks like Ionity only catering for the CCS connector, like Electrify America often having just one out of a bank of CCS connectors. A single CHAdeMO, does that cut it? Well, critics of the LEAF claim that if you buy one now, you may be in a situation in a few years where there aren't enough CHAdeMO connectors for you to get a charge. And that's up for debate whether or not this will be an issue for you. But think about the business case for network operators. Are they going to go to the trouble of installing a CHAdeMO connector if the LEAF is the only car around that can use them? Would they make their money back? Well, for some of those operators, the answer might be yes for now, add a CHAdeMO plug, and in the future, if the business drops off, change it out for a CCS. While we're talking charging, let's take a quick look at charging speeds and compare the LEAF to its competition. It's an area where I feel Nissan has become outdated. On AC, it can be as slow as 3.6 kilowatts. It doesn't cut it. Of course, you can spec a faster charge speed, 6.6 kilowatts, but that also doesn't cut it. In 2022, look at the competition. If you're buying an EV these days and it's not AC charging at 11 kilowatts, you have to ask why. On DC, it doesn't fare much better. The smaller battery is 40 kilowatt hours. It only peaks around 50 kilowatt charge speed. Not an issue many years ago because DC units were scarce, and they were unlikely to be more than 50 kilowatts anyway. But these days, there's loads of high-power chargers going in, 150s or 350s being rolled out. Now, in the LEAF's defense, it can take up to 100 kilowatts if you have the bigger battery, but that leads us back to the CHAdeMO question. How many of those units can provide that speed? And will they put out more than 50 kilowatts? It's often doubtful. Let's talk range for a minute. With the current Nissan LEAF, there's two options. There's either the 40 kilowatt hour or the 62 kilowatt hour battery. Usable capacity are 37 and 56. Is that enough? Well, yeah, of course it is. It depends on what type of driving you're doing. If you're driving non-stop for 4 or 6 hours a day, doing thousands of miles a month, probably not. If you are just using it around town on errands, then yeah, more than enough, you'll charge once a week. There's still loads of people using the older 24 kilowatt hour LEAF with 9 or 10 bars of battery health left, and it suits them absolutely fine. So, what sort of range do you get from those batteries? And does it cut it in 2022? The 40 kilowatt hour LEAF is probably about 150 miles in the real world, as high as 200 in the summer, down to 100 in the winter on the motorway. But if you're willing to spend the extra bit of cash, you can get the 62 kilowatt hour battery. You'll be jumping up to 200 miles in the real world, so ask yourself, do you want to spend the extra money? Is it worth it? The answer to that may well come down to what the competition is doing. If you're in the US, what's the competition for you? Well, at that price point, you'll be looking at something like the Bolt. Should be back on sale almost by the time you watch this video. There's a lot of issues at the moment with that vehicle though, so maybe you could compare the bigger battery 62 kilowatt hour LEAF to the entry-level Model 3. In the UK, the newer LFP battery Model 3 is only a fraction larger in terms of battery size than the LEAF E+, but it's way more efficient. We'll get another 30 or 40 miles of range, but you're paying a load more money because, you know, the Tesla stretch. As I record this, Nissan's announced a refresh for the 2022 year, and it's not really a refresh. They've put the new Nissan badge on. New paint colours, new wheels, and that's it. All the latest technology they could put into the car, they're saving for something like the Aria. Now, I don't think the design has aged badly. This is, of course, subjective. It's got a big cosmetic overhaul 4 years ago. The design's okay, not the most beautiful, not the worst. As you spec the car, though, I like some of the design features, like the two-tone colour scheme. Inside, the LEAF still holds its own, but having said that, when you look at the detail, I can't help but think they've been a little lazy. Although the 40 kilowatt-hour LEAF may look different to the older models, it's incredible how many parts these cars share with the original LEAFs. Look at the HVAC controls, the gear selector, the window controls. I would have loved them to do a bit more. Put a frunk in. Better battery placement for internal space. Maybe do some work on the app, the connectivity. Look, fair enough, the Aria is coming, and it's taking their attention from the designers, but you shouldn't ignore the LEAF. There's definitely still a good space in the market for a hatchback, saloon-style car to fit somewhere between the ID3, Tesla Model 3. Hey, I'm just thinking their alliance partner over at Renault. What about the new electric Megane? Should we have seen something like this, but from Nissan, several years ago? Software, infotainment and connectivity on the original LEAF was interesting. Think about it, going back 10 years, we were talking about waking up, looking out your window, seeing it was frosty or snowy, opening your app and telling it to defrost or preheat. That's brilliant. In theory, many people in practice found that the servers would be overloaded on those frosty mornings and it wouldn't work anyway. Fast forward a decade and the system has improved, still leaves a bit to be desired compared to its competition. Not the worst app, not the best, but it makes me wonder, what could have been? They got so much right so early. Where would they be now if they'd really built on that lead? Well, let's face it, the answer to this relevance question is really going to hinge on pricing for many people. How does it fare against the competition? The tricky part here is that pricing is different all over the world, tax incentives, grants, tariffs. Where I am in the UK, many people will find it hard to go from £28,000 for the entry-level LEAF to £43,000 for the entry-level Tesla Model 3. Yeah, right, we pay import taxes on Tesla, they're expensive cars, even the bigger battery LEAF, £33,000. But having said that, you could get a refreshed MG ZS EV for around the same price. In the US, Nissan shaved off a few dollars from the base price recently. You might get your hands on one after incentives if a dealer wants to get it off their lot for $20,000. Incredible! I can't get my head around that. It's so much value in some places in the world. Although let's see how long Nissan can still get the US tax credits for. A couple more elements to mention when it comes to considering the LEAF for many people is a sense of comfort in choosing an EV that they've seen around for many years. Going electric can be daunting for some people, even if it's kind of this vague sense that familiarity of owning a LEAF could go a long way. The LEAF is also quite practical for many people. It will almost never use a DC fast charger, even a public charger. So for many people, a basic 3.6 kilowatt home charger would cover all of their needs. Has really good space inside for rear passengers. The boot is mega, 435 litres of space. The LEAF E Plus is nippy as well, 160 kilowatt power, heated seats, front and rear, 360-degree camera, e-pedal, one-pedal driving, a lot to like about the LEAF, and that's why people still buy them around the world. So let's try and answer the question. At the beginning of the video, is the LEAF still relevant in 2022? I say yes, very much. Yes, still relevant. Is it the best EV on the market? Oh no, no way, far from it. There are so many more desirable cars out there. There are faster EVs, there are EVs with more range, faster charging, much better connectivity. But The price of the Leaf has dropped for many people around the world. Many find comfort in the badge, and if you don't need that super fast public charging, you're not going on many road trips with lots of range needed or market-leading connectivity, maybe the Leaf is a good option for you to go electric. But let us know what you think in the comments below. Have you bought a Nissan LEAF over the years? Have you bought one recently? Have you answered the question yourself by parting with your own cash to get one this year? Are you considering getting one anytime soon? Or maybe there's aspects of the LEAF that are a deal breaker. You know the deal. Let us know what you think in the comments below. We read all of the comments, and join our new Facebook group to keep the conversation going. It's called Best Electric Vehicle. I've added a link in the description below with our Instagram details as well. If you liked the video, give us a thumbs up so we'll make more like it. And we'll see you on the next one.